All right, well, welcome everyone for our second annual Art and Wine Reveal Party. Kara, we just committed to this being an annual event.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was a hit last year, so we're excited to do it again, and hopefully you guys can join our one next year.
Yeah, and this is always fun because it really does give an insight to what Kara and I do, not just with the wine, but with the selection of art pieces. And so to show you guys a little bit of a sneak preview, I think is really special and something that we know that people have always desired and been very, they've always wondered about it. So we're happy to give that insight into you guys today. But I'm Jamie Benziger, and I'm the winemaker for Imagery Winery. And this is?
For those who don't know, my name is Kara. I'm the art curator at Imagery. I have been with the winery 12 years now and have the absolute privilege of having my dream job of working not only with Jamie, who's a wonderful winemaker, and the Imagery team, but the artists. The artists really bring the Imagery brand to life. We have almost, I think, a dozen at least on the Zoom today. So you guys really help. It's not just about the wine, it's about the art too at Imagery, and you make the job. So thank you and cheers to all of you.
And I'm sure most of you guys didn't know this, but actually tomorrow is World Art Day, April 15th. And so this event really does celebrate fine art and, promotes creativity. So we're really excited that we get to celebrate that today, even though it's happening tomorrow. And then I'm sure most of you guys are curious, but you wonder, how do we go about picking the pieces of art for our collection? And Kara.
Yeah, this is probably my most asked question as the curator at Imagery, is how do we select our artists? So thankfully we are in the San Francisco Bay Area and we have a lot of art fairs and art markets, especially this time of year. I just went to a really awesome one last month. I have another one at the end of this month. And I think it's awesome to see the work in person. It's great to get artists from all over the United States. We get artists from all over the world as well. And that's what's nice when to do research with artist magazines and websites and going to galleries, but really seeing the work in person for me does it. Especially a lot of these art fairs now, the artists are representing their work. So it's wonderful to meet the artists in person, to know who you're actually going to be working with as well. So the majority of the artists are selected through just me being a curator and doing research. However, we do get about 100 submissions a year for only 30 wine labels. So if anyone is an artist that is on this Zoom call that has always been interested in being a part of the Imagery program, we do accept submissions. We get, like I said, around 100 a year, and we go through those submissions and then kind of narrow it down. So those are the more or less the main ways that we find artists for the Imagery collection. And then our collection, speaking of, has actually just reached over 700 artworks.
Yeah,
very excited about that. That's been in the most recent weeks.
Wow.
And then by over 450 artists. So yes, if you do the math, we have had artists create more than one piece. Jamie makes 30 different wines a year. So
give or take, depending on the year.
Yeah, give or take around. My job is to commission 30 artists to create original work of art for those 30 wine labels. And then after harvest, I drag Jamie after she's exhausted from finishing harvest. And I call it the best day ever, mostly because I try to hide the art from Jamie up until this day. So all the work gets photographed. We print out 8 by 10 images of these pieces, and then we put them all on a large table. Jamie comes with her list of wines. We start with the whites, then the rosés, and then the reds, and we just go down the list and start pairing art to wine. Mm-hmm. It's a really fun day. Yeah. The marketing team's done a really good job of showcasing this with photos and videos on our Instagram. So please check our Instagram in the harvest, like fall time, because it's really fun to see the process of it. Mm-hmm. You are getting a glimpse of it today, which is good. But I'd say we're kind of like 80-20. Like 80% of the time we're on the same page of what we would like the art and wine to be paired with?
Yeah, I think, well, a lot of you, some of you may know or may not know, but, you know, Kara and I have both inherited, you know, both of like the art program and, you know, the winemaking, from two amazing men that have been amazing mentors to each of us. Kara, Bob Nugent, me, my dad, Joe Benziger. And so, you know, they were able to work, kind of harmoniously, and they had a certain style when, you know, they were working together, and they were almost the same, like 80-20, you know. And then I think when Kara and I came into the picture, we kind of, you know, I think blended a little bit of a more of a like kind of vibrant, more touch, I think, to the collection, to some of the wines. And but I think for the most part, we are pretty almost always in agreement, and if not in agreement, we are like, oh, okay, that would maybe be my second choice. So it's
And
pretty close.
like, if we disagree,
there's
Which
no
where?
there's no
Yeah.
space.
if we disagree, it's more because I like to be consistent. Like if you lined up all the Albareños, I want them to all be cohesive.
Yeah.
Where Jamie likes a little bit more of a surprise. So if we didn't differ, it's more just like, she's like, come on, Kara, let's shock people. and that's always fun too. But yeah, for the most part, we assign them all, and then there's maybe like 3 or 4 at the end that we switch out. But it's a really fun day, and you're gonna get a little behind the scenes glimpse of it right now, which is really exciting.
Yeah, so we are also gonna, you know, let you vote on the wine for our last piece of artwork today. And just a little housekeeping before we get full blown into this, but this is being recorded. You know, we have everyone muted right now, but please feel free to turn on the camera. You know, we also have in the chat, we have some of our wine club team, Jen, Maddie, and Mike, who will be kind of monitoring the chat and telling us what questions you guys might have or comments. So we just want to make sure that you guys are getting the best experience from today. And yeah, so if you have any questions, please add them to the chat. We got a couple people who could add into them. So also, I just got a little note. So to view us first tile of all attendees, go ahead and click view in your upper right corner and select speaker. Yes. Sweet. Okay. Well, so we do have 2 wines that were, you know, we can't be a Sunday fun day without a little bit of wine, right? A little bit of vino.
Who's drinking? Who's enjoying wine with us?
I hope so. If you don't have the wines that we're tasting today, hopefully you guys have something else to enjoy with that's nice and refreshing and a nice Sunday afternoon. But our first wine actually is one of Kara's favorite. She just told me. So this is our 2023 Imagery Wow Oui. And this is a really fun, exciting blend. And every year it changes. It's always has been based, the base has always been Sauvignon Blanc, Muscat. And then sometimes another variety will be added to it. But actually this year we have 78% Sauvignon Blanc, 18% dry Muscat, and then 4% Albarino this year. So Albarino is our wow factor for the 2023 vintage. And 2023 was a year, a very mild, kind of cooler year. We actually were about 3 weeks late in harvest, and it went into late October, and the white grapes were able to hang longer, retain optimal acidity and flavors. And so this 23 is kind of blowing my mind these days. And the majority of the blend, so 96% of it, the Sauvignon Blanc and the Muscat, do come from our Upper Ridge Vineyard, High Mountain Cloverdale Peak. It's in the northernmost of Sonoma County. It sits at about 2,300 feet, the Sauvignon Blanc. And we're able to grow these grapes and just really get these unique, fun flavors from the Sauvignon Blanc. And then the Muscat adds a little bit of viscosity And then this year, I decided to do a little something different. I was feeling creative, I guess you could say. And we have this amazing vineyard in Sonoma Valley that we purchased Albarino from. And if you don't know what Albarino is, it's a Spanish white grape that grows in the coastal regions of Spain. We are able to make a top-notch Albarino here in Sonoma Valley in the cooler region. And so this just kind of gives it a little added boost of flavor, kind of, you know, brings some white peach into the mix. You know, normally I would say it's like ruby red grapefruit is what the Wow Oui's all about, but this is, it has a little bit different of a flavor profile and aromas this year that I think really jump out of the glass. And then the acidity is just makes this for a great spring, summer, you know, out on the patio, you know, if you're on a lake, you know, river, floating wine, whatever, but
I was just gonna say,
one of my favorites.
it's a really good spring wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think we have a bottle here, I just wanna show. But with like the artwork for Wow Oui, this is something that's, you know, we always want it to be fun, because inside this bottle, we feel is just bursting with vibrancy, energy. And so a lot of the times the label will represent that. Like, we just think this is kind of fun, you know, has a, you know, like you see the bubbles on it. It just kind of gives it some energy to it.
Yeah, good wine. Well, cheers. So I'm actually really excited to talk about this first piece. This piece was created by Laura Ball, who is a watercolor artist based out of San Diego. If you recognize her name, it is because this is the 5th piece that she has created for us for Imagery. Her other 4 have been more to her watercolor style. What makes this piece different is that it is a collaboration with her mother, Linda Nichols, who is a textile artist out of Woodland, California. I love it because it is a quilt piece, which we have never introduced to the Imagery brand, so it's something new and exciting. Also, the process of how they created this piece, Laura and Linda, is amazing. They gave me a really in-depth 2-page paper about it. I'm gonna try and give it to you in bullet points, but their process is amazing. So first they started with Laura creating a watercolor study to use as a pattern for the quilt. Then Linda flew down to San Diego and they painted and dyed fabric. They waited for it to dry, they met together again, and then they cut the fabric and pieced it together to represent the watercolor that Laura Ball had originally created. They did the Parthenon Peak to represent a setting sun. So this is a sunset. They do 2 different ones of this collaboration piece. They do a sunrise and a sunset, and this is one of the sunsets. And then they also created deep and rich colors to highlight the gold foil and the hand-stitched stars. It is absolutely beautiful. Then they layered transparent fabric, which you can see a little bit here and a little bit here, to create a color mix. And this is a technique called glazing. And then the last things that they did was Laura painted some gold foil dots and then Linda sewed some sequins. This piece is absolutely beautiful. It is best seen in person because there is so much detail to this piece. So if you can, I highly recommend visiting Imagery in the next year just to see this piece, because you can see the process and how much effort and technique was brought into this collaboration piece between Linda and Laura.
So this is my first time seeing the artwork. So I'm just with you guys, and I have a little bit closer of a bird's eye view to this, but the detail is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And you know, Kara talked about you know, some of the hand stitch and everything. But you have this like little hummingbird up here. You know, it's just.
And if you follow Laura Ball's work, the hummingbird is like, she's on call, so she can add to this, but I always associate her work with the hummingbird. She usually does watercolors of different animals and insects and bugs. And I think we have Laura and Linda on here, correct? Yep, there's Laura and Linda. So yeah, this piece is absolutely amazing. Just the collaboration between the mother and daughter, I really love too, and having a quilt piece in the collection is really exciting. Jamie,
And that's our first one, so
Yeah.
I mean, the stitching is, you know, art in itself, and I've always thought that with, you know, looking at quilts and all that and the different types of stitches you can do, so it's absolutely phenomenal. Oh,
Jamie,
okay, so
see this on.
I was gonna ask you that too.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this, the detail behind the Parthenon right here, I kind of skimmed the top, sorry.
It's okay.
Karen told me not to touch.
I was like, not touch song.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. But this actually reminds me of kind of the Aliatico piece of work that we had, I believe, in 2022.
Yes.
So it kind of reminds me of that. It does have that kind of those rosé colors behind it.
The pink part.
So I would say one of the rosés, Aliatico or Tempranillo rosé. I would lean towards Aliatico for sure. But if not that, because I sometimes, not to say it can go on a white or a red, I also like to think what maybe a red it could go on. And I think this would be a fun piece for like the Grenache.
Grenache, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. So Laura actually had a wine in mind.
Oh, she did.
Yes, she did. So she loves the Imagery brand and she loves all of your wines, Jamie. And she was actually thinking the Cab Franc because the wide range of flavor, and she added this full range of color into the piece.
You know what? I love that because you're so right with the Cab Franc. You get, with the Cab Franc, you get some of those red kind of, you get some strawberry notes, some cherries from Cab Franc, but then you also can get really nice kind of like earthy notes as well, which kind of right down this detail below, represents for me. And then even up here, like when I think of this darker piece, I almost like think of like the tannin structure of the Cab Franc from the Cab Franc. Yeah. That can happen. I love it. We're gonna write that down.
Yeah. Yeah, Laura or Linda, do you want to maybe give everybody just a couple sentences of the work, or not to put you on the spot, you don't have to. I felt like I did a pretty good job, but yeah, if there's anything you want to add to what we've already said.
I was just trying to unmute herself.
Yeah. Okay, I think we got Linda. Hi. Here we go. Hi, Linda.
Hi. I think Laura's having a problem connecting. She texted me and she said, "Can you hear everybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can." So she's usually the speaker for us. But it was a great piece to work on. It was really a lot of fun to be able to collaborate with her on a project. She's just so incredibly talented, and it was just really a lot of fun, you know. I think whichever wine you put it on, it's going to be absolutely fabulous.
I love that mother-daughter collaboration.
Yeah, we actually have too much fun. That's the problem, you know.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, I have the same, you know, type of energy with my mom, but you know, I work more with my dad, or I have in the past. But yeah, when we get together to make wine, it's almost, it's too much fun.
And that's what we want. Like when I commission artists, I want them to have fun creating these pieces for Imagery. Ultimately, it's going on a bottle of wine that people are going to drink and enjoy with company.
That's fun.
So you got to have fun doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's been great.
Yes. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
I think we're on number 2.
Okay.
We have Jen helping us from move one to add another. Okay, so this next piece that we're going to talk about is Nancy Ivanhoe. She is a Los Angeles artist who incorporates painting and sculpture. She creates these 3-dimensional forms using light, color, and overlapping layers. Much like the process of making wine, she is a process-based artist. And she paints, so her process is that she paints on these metal screens and then creates them into shapes, which she overlaps into semi-transparent compositions. So that is the effect that you're getting from this piece right here. The piece is called Red Thread. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a red thread that starts here and goes all the way through, and then it actually is what is creating the Parthenon right here. And then there's 3 white pillars that are showing the Parthenon. But the palette combines colors of sun, water, and plant, which are all needed to make and grow grapes. So she really thought about the wine label aspect when creating this piece. The red thread represents the wine as it weaves together the yellow and the green and the blue.
Oh, I love it. It's almost like 3-dimensional too, when you like really are able to get close to it.
Again, this is another one that you've got to see in person because you see the 3D aspect of it and the overlaying of it with the metal screen and how she paints them. But it is absolutely beautiful. And I love the story. I love when the artists think about, okay, this is going on a wine label, and I'm thinking about the wine while making this and the process of how it, you need the sun and the plants and the water to grow the grapes. So I love the story behind this one.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And you know what's really neat is, we're talking about how you guys can't, like, you have to see it up close, and that's another aspect, when working with artists, and Kara does a great job with, is as we're trying to put them on the wine labels, we want to do that piece of artwork justice. And it can definitely be difficult because you see a piece of artwork on a wine label and, the sizing matters, right?
Yeah.
And so Kara works so diligently and respectfully of all the different artists to make sure that they approve of the final way that the artwork is sitting on the label, which I think that's important to kind of give note to. And this is both of those pieces of artwork. I think you need that in order to really exemplify all the amazing detail that's gone into time and energy that has gone into those pieces of art.
And our artists are just as well represented on the back label as Jamie Benziger. The artist's name is on there, their first and last name, where they live, their city and their state. So we try to give back to the artist as much as we can here at Imagery, because like I said, they really do make the brand. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. And what I like what we have done is changed up. So the front label is about the variety and the artwork.
Yeah.
There's the brand, the variety, the wine, and then just the artwork. So all the other stuff is on that back end. Not to say they're not as important, but over the years, Imagery, art and wine, it's cohesive. It's a partnership. It's really what has made Imagery what it is and the brand that it is today, and
Just showcasing the art.
yeah. So I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. So what could you see this on? Where is your head going on this?
So I was like, I look at it and I'm kind of like Riesling is one.
Same.
Yeah, Riesling, definitely.
Yeah.
I love, there is a lot of detail to it, but there's also this simplicity to it as well. And I think Riesling, for me, that's kind of, Riesling doesn't get a lot of, it's one of those varieties that it has, there's a lot of complexities to the variety.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that or can't see it unless they open the bottle and they taste it. And then you see the layers as you taste and this too, and you get closer to it.
Yeah, the layers of the wine and then the layers of the art and seeing how the colors mesh together to create one color. So yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page on that one.
See, sometimes we're on the same page.
Yeah, sometimes we agree.
Okay, should we taste the next?
Oh yeah, we're not doing next. Okay.
Where's your wine?
Okay, so those of you who are drinking, we are now switching to the red wine.
Well, Jamie Porzak here, I have a question. How to submit to be considered for commission, if we can upload the one-page overview on how to do that.
Yes, so we have a PDF submission that we send to all potential artists. So why don't, Jen, you put my email on the chat, and then anyone who is interested in getting the PDF submission form can email me and I will email it to you. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, so we will add my email to the chat. Any artists on here who are interested in submitting work for the Imagery wine label, that's what we'll do. Reach out to me and we will go from there.
Okay, you guys, the 21 vintage has become one of my favorites. The wines that are showing from the 21, especially the reds right now, are showing phenomenally. 21 was another year of drought, but it lended itself to fruit that came in with complexity, some nice bright acidity, and then, you know, also just kind of more softer tannins, I would say for sure for all the 21 reds as well. And the Tusca Brava is, I think, one of the ultimate blends. It's a blend of, you know, different vineyards, varieties, and it's also one of the hardest blends to make for me because there's about 7 or 8 different lots of wine that go into this blend. And so the 21 Tusca is actually 67% Sangiovese, so a little bit higher percentage of Sangiovese than what you've seen in the past. It's 19% Malbec, 6% Merlot, 4% Cab Franc, and then 4% Cab Sauv. And this is a special wine because I'm not the only winemaker, honestly, behind this wine. Our cellar master, Jose Ortiz, has been working with my family for over 30 years. And he worked he worked so hard with my dad, and dad and him, you know, would be up in the early mornings of harvest, working together. They would blend together, and Jose doesn't just treat his job as, you know, just getting the job done and coming in and just, you know, coming into the winery and then leaving. Like, he is here sometimes a little too early, maybe 4 in the morning, and then doesn't leave until 5 at night. But he has this passion behind the quality of winemaking. And when my dad retired, I was nervous, very, very much so. And it felt more comforting that Jose was still in our cellar, and he still is. And he was, you know, able to kind of help me with some of the, you know, the decision making when I wasn't feeling confident in them. So a lot of the times when I do something, you know, Jose will question me, and I welcome it because I love that. It just shows how much he cares and he's paying attention to those little details. So Tusca Brava is a collaborative blend that I make with Jose, and so it's a really special wine for me because Jose's literally seen me running around the winery. I'm, you know, pretty sure he's, you know, I was running around in diapers, you know, all that fun stuff here, rollerblading in the caves, probably making his life hell when I was doing it. But you know, in a way, he's was like definitely another mentor for me, and another fatherly figure. Like,
Yeah.
if anyone, if you ever come to Imagery and Benziger and you get to meet Jose, you are in the presence of one of the most amazing men, I think. And so so a very special wine.
Yeah, and to go off on that, everyone asks who gets to choose the art and wine, and it's Jamie and I, except Jose has to okay the Tusca Brava. So
Yeah.
since I started with Imagery 12 years ago, if Jose did not like what we put on the Tusca Brava, it got changed. So
Yes.
he not only has a stamp on the wine, he also has a stamp and chose on the art as well. So before we move on to the next piece, I did just hear that the Nancy who created this piece is online. So just wondering, Nancy, if you wanted to say anything about your work that you created for Imagery for everyone to hear.
No, I really enjoyed having a project. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you. Yep.
Okay, great. It was a really fun project. I had never done anything like that, and it was a challenge because I make very three-dimensional work, but to come up with a way to flatten it and make it appear more two-dimensional, it was fun. It was a challenge, but it was very fun. And thank you for giving me that opportunity. But you pretty much talked about my process and what went in my mind. So thank you so much.
Oh, good. I did a good job. Now, how do you feel about the Riesling?
You did a great job.
Okay, great. All right.
Right, I do. I'm red. My mouth is watering, but I have to get on a ladder today. So I know I should go drink one, you know.
Thank you, Nancy. We always love when the artists are on these Zooms too, to
Yeah.
get their input, and make sure I'm doing my job right as well. So thank you. Okay. So we're gonna
Totally. Thanks.
And the next piece we're going to talk about is actually really small. So we're going to have Janie bring it closer to you guys as I talk about it, because it is a very small piece and there's a lot of detail in this one as well. So
She's letting me touch the artwork.
yeah, I can let her touch this one. So the artist is Larissa Nowicki, and she's a New Jersey mixed media artist. The work that she created for Imagery is the base of it is actually an image you can see through of the Parthenon and vineyards, which she then overlaid by woven bookbinding fabric. Now, these two pieces are held together by hundreds of small stitches made with linen bookbinder thread. I know this is like intense. And then this process, it shows the softness of the textiles, but also the strength of the woven fabric, because it's keeping these two pieces together. It might sound kind of simple, but this is very time consuming. It requires a lot of patience, very similar to the art of making wine. And that is a quote from Larissa.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see it really well, but it's, yeah, like.
Yeah, were you guys able to see it okay? Is my camera like?
Is the lighting okay too? So it's basically an image of the Parthenon with the vineyards that she then sewed with book binding and wove it together. And she said there's over 100 threads on this piece. So it's another kind of two-dimensional, three-dimensional piece. We're kind of having a theme with today's reveal party, but this is another one that is incredibly remarkable, and you got to see it in person to see the details on it. And I don't know, Larissa said she was going to try and join, but she did say she's traveling in Europe. So if you are on here, just send in the chat you are. If not, no worries.
Okay, Kara, so you be the first to tell me what you think.
Okay, so I'm gonna go, I might shock you, but I'm thinking more Petit Verdot.
Oh, yeah, I thought that too. Yeah, I thought that too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
shocking.
love that. And if you guys have any suggestions, please put it in the chat, because that could easily sway us potentially when we go and
Yeah,
make our selections.
I feel like so far we've been on track with all of them, which
Yeah.
I'm.
And what's your reasoning for Petit Verdot?
I think Petit Verdot, like I like more of a subtle piece
Mhm.
that either has a lot of white or a lot of black or both. And this, I don't know if you can see on screen, but the thread is obviously white, and that's what is giving me the Petit Verdot vibes.
Yeah.
I'm curious why you think, because
Same. Yeah, no, and I think, so Petit Verdot is, I mean, even though it's a very, it can be a very unctuous, Bordeaux, red grape variety. When I think of Petit Verdot, sometimes I just want a piece that is maybe a little bit more, subtle and,
Yeah, subtle.
you know, with, some of the colors and, but yet the detail of this piece gives way to, you know, the the detail that Petit Verdot as a single variety, but then also within a blend can give, is kind of my mindset.
And
I'm also thinking Petit Verdot. I think of all the grape varieties as like humans or like
You're
people
like your
sometimes, like I
babies,
can like give them their own personalities and like how I think they would be if they were like walking around.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
And there's a lot of times when after explaining the art to Jamie, she'll be like, oh, it's this one. Because that relates to the winemaking process of it, that relates to the growing of the grapes and where the grapes are grown. And so a lot of times I have to tell the story of the art to Jamie, and then then you pair the art to the wine.
Yeah,
which is
and
really fun too.
that's what's so special about today too, is being able to hear just what goes on with, you know, these specific pieces of art, and to hear about the work and the effort and the detail, and the creativity and the passion, because that's the same that goes into winemaking on a day-to-day basis.
That's
So
awesome.
it's really cool. to
Did
hear.
we get anyone guess or opinions on what they think that art should be on? No? Not yet. Okay, so if anyone has any guesses of what that art should be placed on, please put your votes in the chat. And what we are gonna switch off to our next piece. Okay, so this is,
We have some notes.
we have some votes.
Burgundy,
White Burgundy, yeah,
Okay.
okay, I can actually see that, yeah.
Merlot,
Merlot, good.
Viognier from Miss Maddie.
Jamie's writing this down, she didn't leave, she's coming back. Okay, so Whiteberg, Merlot, Viognier, that's it, okay.
I like
And
it.
we actually do write this down and take it into consideration when we're assigning art to wine too.
Love the idea of putting this art on Sauvignon Blanc, soft and smooth, as noted in the art.
Alright, Sauv Blanc, so maybe the Wow Oui that we were just enjoying at the beginning. All good choices.
Love it. Okay.
Okay, so the last one we're gonna talk about, this piece is by Esteban Ocampo-Giraldo. As a Colombian raised in the digital age, Esteban was exposed to American culture through internet and television. His work is a collaboration between his influence on Western art history and his Colombian lifestyle. His work reflects this cross-culture influence between the two. And he creates visual references from his memories as he felt and remembered them in that moment in time. When he painted the piece for Imagery, he thought, what better way than to incorporate the Parthenon as the floaty? So I don't know if you can see, but the Parthenon is a floaty into the pool. So he gave this floaty the focal point of the work, which I find super fun. This is giving me obviously really like summer vibes. So I right away thought of either Alianica Rosé or a Wow Oui. I want to be drinking something cold and crisp by the pool and the heat. So that was giving me those really good summer vibes.
Definitely.
What do you feel?
Yeah, no, when I saw it today, I mean, this just screams summer to me.
Yeah.
I also was like, hey, can we make a Parthenon floaty and maybe sell that? Because, you know, you just put like, you know, make this a floaty, put some nets in there, you fit 3 people on here.
Yeah, all
Like,
on the
I don't know, it looks like a fun time. So I don't know if any of you guys would be interested if we get some floaties made up.
Yeah,
Parthenon.
buy a Parthenon floaty. I don't know. She sold it to me. My parents live on a lake in Michigan. I'm like, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Come on the lake. And we might have Esteban on the call. If you are and would like to talk about your piece, please unmute. I don't know, he is in Colombia, so it might be the time difference, right?
But I love this, like the color, you know, the detail, like it almost looks like leopard-like in the pool of the water
Yeah.
and stuff, like I
And I love this is
Yeah.
what, like, this part's gonna be the Allica Rose
Yes,
vibes
okay.
with the
Yeah.
pink ball. But it also could be like Wow Oui.
I definitely think that, and then I honestly think that this could go on, also a lighter red, because there are some reds that I think of as like spring sippers, like a little brisk outside still for spring, but you're still like, oh, okay, like have that, like maybe that red wine type of vibe. I don't know, so.
And like, if we had to pick another white, my other thing I was gonna guess was Viognier.
Mhm.
This could be like a
Definitely.
Viognier vibe too.
Yeah.
So, this is actually the artwork that we are going to be voting on, and thanks to Jen, we are doing a live poll. So, the poll is currently live. If you're having trouble accessing it, please let the chat know, and someone from our wine club team can help you. But we are allowing you to vote on one of 4 wines, right? What did we say? Allica Rosé, Viognier, Wow Oui, and we even threw in the Riesling. So, we want your vote. We want you to help us sign this. We did this last year, and everybody actually was on the same page last year.
Yeah.
Everybody voted the same wine last year, which was kind of ironic, like mind
It
blowing.
was, and it went on the 23 Aliatico Rosé that just got Best of Show Rosé at the North, the North Coast Wine Challenge, actually.
So huge congrats to Jamie.
Aw.
We did this last year. The artist was Amy Farron from, I believe, Washington, and everyone voted Aliaca Rosé, and then it just won a big award. So congrats to you. That's huge. Our rosés typically go really fast, and now that it won this big award, if you do like rosé, I highly recommend purchasing it very fast before it sells out. But
hey, this might be the wine that wins next year.
Yeah, this might be the one that wins next year. But you guys are deciding which wine this art is going to be placed on. The winning vote is going to be decided whether we agree or not.
Yeah, no, but that's what we love about this is, and that's why we are having this event, is because we did wanna bring all you guys in on this process. And so it's really special to say that, oh, everyone agreed that this would go on this wine. And it's one less piece that we have to decide on. But it is, like, when I think of imagery, I think of it as a team effort all around the board. So not just, Kara and I, but with Jen Oakes and her team, with our wine club, our artists, our cellar team, our vineyard team, our outside growers. There's a lot of, behind the scenes that go into this brand, and which makes it extremely special. And, I think, brings so much life and history to the story.
Yeah, and I feel like that's anytime that one of us is talking about imagery, we always say the imagery team.
Yeah.
Because it really is, it's a team effort for sure. Yeah. So is everybody voting? We would love to,
We have some votes?
We have a lot of votes.
We have a lot of votes. Okay, get your votes in if you haven't already.
And they also suggested the Brut Rosé, but that's a repeat, that we use that piece every year.
Yes, so the Brut Rosé is actually the artwork is by Laura Ball, which is one of the collaborating artists from the first piece that we talked about, the quilts artwork. And that is a repeat, so we don't change that one. We keep doing her beautiful watercolor that she created for us.
But good call, Al.
Yeah,
that would be a great sparkling wine.
It is giving bubble vibes now
Yeah.
that you're saying, now that we have.
Yeah. Come join the team.
Yes.
The winner,
Okay.
Oh, here we go, drum roll.
second year in a row. Oh, we gotta go.
Aliatico.
Followed very closely by Wow Oui.
Okay, I think those are our two
Yes,
favorites.
I love it.
That's
Right.
awesome, great, okay, so now we do have to make this an annual event to see if the Aliatica Rosé will win next
Yeah.
year too. Oh
And
my
I want
God.
you guys also to help us, if we do continue this, and we want to continue this, because we have fun hanging out together, and
Yeah.
but how we can make it better, what do you guys like want more from us interaction wise? But you know, virtual, it's here to stay. We wish we could do it all in person and bring you guys on property, but I know it's tough with everyone living all over the states and the world.
It's a good
you
way
know,
to like include those people that
Yeah.
that aren't local, that would like to go to events, but you know, you do the virtual ones. And yes, please give us your feedbacks. We took them last year, we added it to this year. So any feedbacks that you would like to give us, either good or bad, please add them too.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please come off mute and you can ask us. You don't have to use the chat now. We're done with our performance. Cheers. Or does anybody have any questions for the artists? We had Laura and Linda who created the quilt piece. We also had Nancy who created the second piece that we talked about with the metal. So if anybody has any questions for them or for Jamie or myself, we're happy to answer any questions you guys have. Nope, I think we're all satisfied. Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining our second annual Wine and Art Reveal Party. And we hope to continue this annual event and let you guys in on the process. And yeah, so fun. And thank you, Kara. I appreciate you so much and all the hard work you do. It's amazing. And you know, Kara's brought a lot of, I think, really, like, she's really put her thumbprint on this imagery art collection and brought you know, her own touch to this, and it's really special. And then I also want to thank Jen Oakes, our sales manager, and her team, Maddie and Mike, who joined us today. So thank you. And yeah, if you guys have any questions that you think of in the future, please don't hesitate to email or call, or however we want to do it in the chat. We will be happy to answer them. So thank you guys again.
And thanks again
Happy
to all
Sunday.
of our artists for, and you know, making the brand too. So thank you. Cheers. Happy
Cheers, everyone.
Sunday.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.